You can never be woke enough. That's the problem. It keeps going. It keeps going further and further and further down the line. And if you get to the point where you capitulate, where you agree to all these demands, it will eventually get to straight white men are not allowed to talk.
Right.
Because it's your privilege to express yourself when other people of color have been silenced throughout history. It will be, you're not allowed to go outside because so many people were imprisoned for so many years. I mean, I'm not joking.
No, I know.
It really will get there. It's that crazy.
Did you know you guys can't say anything anymore? I swear, this is something that I have heard from comedians going back. God, this has to be 20 years now. Man. So, back in the early aughts and the teens, radio shows, specifically like Opie and Anthony, and guys like Joe Rogan, they really started with the trend that you can't say anything anymore. They're digging through your Twitter and it's cancel culture. And they kind of coined it. Like they kind of like coined the idea of getting canceled. But back around that time, there was still an out where you could go on an apology tour, just kind of, ride it out and then, just see what happens, start booking, gigs. Louis C.K. did it, where he just waited for the controversy following him around just to kind of stave off, and then he just quietly started booking shows, and he was booking theaters, man. And nobody talked about it. I think to this day, he's staying under the radar, and it's working out for him. But, it still doesn't take away from the fact that he did what he did. And it was like that one, that was just kind of like, oh man, you're just a weird dude. That's like, ugh. Anyway, but it's this idea that you can't say anything anymore, that the wokies have taken over, and that comedy is dying because of it. But there's never any, self-reflection on the comedy that they're doing or, why their audiences might be dissipating. So I kind of wanted to watch this video because they did a really good job of covering the modern discourse around modern comedy. So with that said, let's take a look, shall we?
I'm a traditional liberal, which makes me a right-wing fascist. I want a guy up in the cockpit with, pit up there, with purple hair and an outside up there, For some women, their vaginas are a little on the beefy side. That's a feminine penis. Give me that thing.
Genuine question. Why are conservative comedians so bad?
It's been such a weird year too. Remember the Bud Light controversy?
That was
Dylan
comedy
Mulvaney?
gold right there.
People were so mad they had a trans woman on the can. If you were mad about that, you're a loser. I thought it was awesome that she was on. I do. Yeah, because I would look at the can, and when I would find her attractive, I would know that I can't drive home. So for me, it provided a service.
That's how it's
For
done.
what it's worth, let's just look at the contrasting styles. Shout out to Sam Morril. Dude is hilarious.
No concept of reality. They've been living in a bubble forever. Asking questions have nothing to do with the real world. What is my gender, Mom? What is my gender? Your gender is get a job. That's your gender. What are they thinking?
Real quick, I just have to admit it. I did not think that Roseanne would have lost all this weight and look as good as she does. She actually looks really, really good for her age, and I'm just kind of shocked at it. But she's definitely gone down that rabbit hole.
Ask it, what is a
which is
woman?
unfortunate.
They don't know that. That one they're asking all the time, what is a woman? I'll tell you what a woman is. A woman is me.
So weird that her
That's
show
what
was
a
one of the
woman
first
is,
shows
okay?
that showed a gay character
A woman
progressively.
is someone who cleans up everybody else's. That's what a woman is.
It's just the same old recycled stuff over and over again
It
in
is.
their orbit. No substance, no depth, just mouth garbage to hit the GOP talking points.
That's all women do is think.
Always thinking. Sometimes you can't even sleep because you won't shut the hell up. You in the bed and your mind is just racing about nothing. Just, I need to talk to her tomorrow because I didn't like the way she spoke to me today. And I'm not going to have this uncomfortable thing going on between us. Did I lock the door? I should have bought those shoes. Where's my high school yearbook? Ooh, what you gonna have for lunch tomorrow? I don't know. Why you think about lunch? You need to have a good breakfast.
I mean, I can just speak for myself. That's me at 4 a.m. Like, if I can't go back to bed.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start every morning with a good breakfast. Maybe I'll start that low-carb diet. That seems to be working for a lot of people. What was my third-grade English teacher's name? What was her name?
See the polarizing differences between, say, Roseanne Barr and Wanda Sykes?
You know that the gays are cold. That they fear the cold. The gays love water, but fear the cold. We have a tremendous show for you. We got gays, we got lesbians, we got...
Was there supposed to be laughs after that?
Right up front. They put the straight person up front. Why would you put a straight person? I demanded the straight people be in the back.
Well, this is almost too easy.
What? But, I mean, isn't that kind of a slippery slope? I'm both immoral and dumb. 2 years ago was really hard because it was like I haven't read a whole book on ideas and freedom, and then all of a sudden it was just like, hey, I'm gay, but I support fascists. It was like, no, so Marianne Williamson, so her whole point about the abolitionist movement was that people are too wrapped up in identity politics.
Oh, man. Gone too soon. That's Michael Brooks. He was brilliant as a political commentator and, man, just as a
That was just 5 minutes.
amateur comedian. He never really did the circuit or anything, but he was just so funny.
R.I.P. to the legend Michael Brooks. Yeah. We miss you, man. One of their favorites to attack, New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
AOC, my favorite big booty Latina. You look very beautiful in that dress. You look very sexy. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina. Look how sexy she looks in that dress. Woo, I love it, AOC. Hot, hot, hot like a tamale.
And it's just one pathetic attack after another.
Here's a quick thought experiment. If AOC was fat and in her 60s, would anyone listen?
We only pay attention to her because she's hot.
Are idiotic 95%.
I think about her when I do my nasty business.
She was a middle-aged, heavy-set woman. Ugh. Anyone would care what she had to say. I'm just saying, if she was fat and old, I don't think TMZ would be chasing her around.
Like, realistically, that's where all this stuff comes from. That's where, like, the trans, like, obsession comes from. It's just, especially modern, like, I know this is going to sound a little crass, but it's true. Trans is a thing in comedy now as far as, like, attacking it, because before, like, these guys had the idea that there were no passing trans women. So the idea of a passing trans woman to them is it's absolutely terrifying, because they literally are like, oh, what if I'm secretly gay for sexualizing this person that happens to have a penis, kind of thing, without looking at it like from the idea of, oh, well, they are feminine, therefore I look at them and, you know, I don't like. The fact that immediately they go to genitalia too is it's kind of reflective of how just stuck in their 13-year-old boy mentality they are, where instead of looking at a person and then just being like, I'm very attracted to that person, and then it's like, even if they found out they were trans, it's like, just for them to immediately get repulsed and just be like, no, and then they have to go shower, and it's the Ace Ventura thing all over again. Like, Ace Ventura pretty much ruined an entire generation of these guys, I swear, because they all saw that and immediately were just like, what? That could happen? What? It's just, ugh.
Every detainee must get 3 square meals and adequate hydration.
Grow up.
Diet?
Yeah.
Because this doesn't taste like diet.
It's diet.
Detto America.
You know this awful individual.
Oh, hilarious.
The one and only Steven Crowder.
Who's that
loser who's going through the worst divorce of all time right now? Steven Crowder.
I've never even heard of that guy.
So lucky. He's like if Joe Rogan seems too confusing, they like Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder tried to be a stand-up. He was a stand-up and was the worst stand-up of all time. And then was like on Fox News as the funny one. And he got fired because they were like, you're not funny at all. And now he's going through like an insane divorce and losing all kinds of money. And it's hilarious. But I was at the Comedy Cellar when he auditioned. The owner had seen him on Fox and was like, I'd like a conservative voice. And then I got to watch him just eat the hottest of hot for 5 minutes on a Sunday. And every time I see him being like, democracy, I laugh thinking about what a loser he is. We got to get him on the pod, Aaron. Got to get Tucker. I want Steven Crowder's wife on the pod with the kids.
Anthony Jeselnik, one of the best and darkest comedians around, tore him to shreds.
Wow.
What are you, a cult member?
Oh, God. This one hurts.
Yeah.
This one hurts.
Extremist.
He used to be, like, I wouldn't say really funny, but he was much funnier. Surprisingly, like, when he would tell stories, like, he had this one story about, like, he had a neighbor that he owned a pizza business that he got into, like, this really big fight with. Like, it was an epic saga that was hilarious, but all of a sudden, you know, COVID broke this guy's brain more than anybody else.
One of them.
More words.
Here in the NFL.
For the record, he is linking the vaccine to Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin collapsing, which shows not only is
wait, that was that guy that got hit in the chest really hard and then collapsed.
Brewer so far down the rabbit hole, but that he did not see it was because of a collision with Bengals wideout T. Higgins.
Man, the guy literally took like a helmet to the chest.
To believe that was because of vaccination.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and this entire crowd is going wild on it, but like just hee-hawing like donkeys. Like that idea that football player just got smashed in the chest.
Everything we're seeing here is really just sort of indicative of all conservative media. It is aggrievement, right?
For WD-40
this
on the chair.
whole comedy routine is just mocking the people who have been aggrieving you.
I want to be a horsey. I want to be a wizard. I want to be a girl.
My pronouns are he and ha.
More trans jokes from the right.
From
Fox Nation.
Oh, I'm wearing a romper today. You normally have to
Hilarious.
take it off entirely, you know? But not if you're transgender. You know, you can just kind of, you know.
Release the Omicron and let them know it doesn't even matter if they're vaccinated.
It was just laughing at the mannerism.
Like we're in an Avengers movie. The Omicron is coming. The Omicron is coming.
That's School of Jim Brewer's How to Be Funny. Oh, see, we're about to get chased. See, they're coming for us. Oh my God! Did you hear my neighbor? He was mowing his lawn. And then he got the weed whacker out, and he went. Ugh. Yes. Riveting comedy.
Grandmother back in the basement! Quickly! Get the children away from everyone! It's the Omicron! He's breathing on everyone and no one's dying!
2,000 deaths a day.
Yeah, I was about to say, what?
You see them panicking.
Look at that audience is loving it.
Running to the screens. What do we do now? Joe Rogan's misinformation! Joe Rogan's misinformation! Joe Rogan's misinformation! Woo!
I mean, he said it numerous times. If we were just to take it from as a direct quote from Jim Brewer, there we go. I mean, he's not wrong.
War in Russia! War in Russia! War in Russia! Quick, look at the other ring of the circus!
That didn't age well.
No, it did not. By the way, that's Goat Boy from Saturday Night Live, just to refresh one's memory.
My gran didn't want to get a vaccine because my gran's neighbour told her that Bill Gates is putting microchips in the vaccine to control people's minds. I went down to my gran, like, Gran, you're 82, you need the vaccine. She's like, Mark, I just don't want to be brainwashed. I was like, Gran, you've been a devout Catholic your entire life. You've already been brainwashed.
Yeah.
It's not Bill Gates you need to look out for, it's Farmer Paul. There wasn't a mass for over a year, he was still taking a collection every week. By the way, I very much enjoyed that applause, which I can only assume was sectarian.
Hey, I appreciate you
That's
watching.
pretty funny.
Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you.
So, as you just saw, you can't say anything anymore without anybody getting offended, without looking at the fact that it's just objectively not funny stuff. And this has always been something in comedy where if you're going for the lowest common denominator of any subject and you're using that in your bits, you kind of deserve to have it called out. So even if you take away like the political stuff from these comedians like Rob Schneider and Jim Brewer, I think just objectively people would go, nah, I think that you've lost a step. A good example is Joe Rogan's new stand-up special. I tried to sit through it, and it's just not good. And like, as somebody who has, I've done comedy. I've not, obviously not that well because here I am not doing it as a career. But being exposed to it in the way that I was and just watching guys, go and work, it was kind of telling where immediately this is the reaction that they had where, oh, this audience, they're like, because they would get off, especially if they were bombing, and they'd be like, this audience, they're cold tonight. It's like, well, not really, because I just saw your opener crush it. Like, so, but that's comedy. Comedy is subjective. I mean, heck, you could have laughed at some of the jokes that you heard from Roseanne or any of those conservative comedians. But again, it being subjective, I'm not going to sit here and just be like, oh, you're a horrible person for laughing at that. So, but I appreciate you being here. Thank you for checking it out. I kind of am trying to branch out a little bit more into doing, just social commentary. So talking about more of the comedians that have admittedly been harping on this for the better part of a decade. So I think that it's kind of nice to start calling them out, the Joe Rogans of the world, if you will. But again, if you like what you saw, comment, subscribe, and leave a like, because that is the one that helps me the most. So it's free to do. So just do it. Just that one little click helps me so much. I really do appreciate it. I will see you in the next one.